So you may have noticed that after Chapter 3, we got some cards as a reward, and that'll happen from now on. We'll just get cards for beating levels. And that kind of ties into our typical preparations that we do for each chapter. What usually happens is we'll go into our card deck and we'll move some stuff around, and then like maybe we'll go to the hangar and build some weapons and whatnot, because the hangar will update after every chapter with new stuff to build. That being said, we don't actually need to do any preparations at all for Chapter 4. We got everything we need already, which is kind of unusual, but it's a good thing, so hey, good for us. In the cutscene before the chapter, you got an introduction to the 4 generals of the Black Swarm, because of course there's 4 fucking generals of the Black Swarm. And there was the military dude, the hot scientist chick, the creepy superhero dude in spandex, and the little girl. And for this chapter, we're going to be fighting the little girl. Her name is Alicia, Alicia, you can call her whatever you want. She's like sort of the kid with the magnifying glass kind of character. He's a little bit nuts, but like kind of like a douchebag kid sort of way. You'll see. Actually, no, you won't, because I'll be skipping all the text. Anyway, she pilots a moth, and that's actually a pretty big threat for this point in the game. It's sort of the gun equivalent of the Rhino Beetle in that it's pretty damn tanky and also hits like a fucking truck. The difference being is that it hits like a fucking truck because it has anti-ground guns. And what that means is that whenever it shoots a ground unit, which, you know, is 3/5 of our army and both of our good combat units, it does double damage. So we're gonna need to do some kind of weird stuff in order to be able to kill Alicia without losing any units. But first we have to wade through this lake of shitty ants and stuff. And this mosquito is gonna just up and explode for no reason. What's actually happening here is it's using a card, and we're actually gonna get that card ourselves later in the game, but like, I don't understand why it happens here at all. Like, I think that happens sometimes in hard mode, but that is literally the only time it ever happens in easy mode, and it really begs the question why the developers left it in there at all. But, I mean, it happens. Moving on. We're gonna heal here because Shoya needs to be at, like, as healthy as possible to use Bee Sting effectively. But before he can use Bee Sting, he's gonna use Spider Thread, and Spider Thread is certainly is the single most important card we're ever going to use in this game. And what it does, as you just saw, is it grabs a unit within 8 squares and then puts them into an adjacent square. And we used it on Sakuma, who happened to have Yui and Tsubasa inside him. So we just dragged 3 units all the way across the fucking map in a single action. Yeah, so in particular, we put Tsubasa in range of Alicia for her to come and attack her and use Hornet Fury. And I hate this card, and it sucks. And main reason it sucks because this minigame sucks. You have to do a minigame on the touchscreen every time you use a battle card, and all the defensive ones have this dumb fly one that the AI is suspiciously good at. Anyway, what Hornet Fury does is, you saw we just took 145 points of damage, and now we're going to do 145 back. And we need to do that with Hornet Fury because Alicia is tanky enough that we can't do that with a normal counter, and she needs to be at a low enough HP for Shoya to kill her with Bee Sting off the top. And you can see why Hornet Fury kind of sucks. Like, not only is it paired with a terrible minigame, but you also have to like take a bunch of damage for it to do anything worthwhile. I hate it. You have to use it 3 times in the game, and every time I do it begrudgingly. And it basically just brings to the table like margin of error. Like, you can just lose that, and you have to restart. It's pain. But you just saw Yamato finish off all those ants, and now we're gonna have Shoya use Bee Sting on Alicia. And that's the card that I used last chapter and then didn't have time to explain. And it's, if Spider Thread is the single most important card in the game, this is definitely the second most important. What happens is that it looks at the amount of HP you have. In this case, Shoya has 241 HP, and it deals that amount of damage to the opponent. So as long as you're at a higher HP than the opponent, you can kill him guaranteed. And you can see why they'd be really useful, especially if you're using it with a unit that's like not normally a combat unit like Tsubasa. Like, she's got no chance against Alicia. She can do like 40 or 50 damage at a time, but if she uses Bee Sting, it doesn't matter that she sucks at combat, she can still do like 200 damage just because she has 200 HP. So that's what we're going to use it for, like, a lot. And what's supposed to happen with Bee Sting is that you do that, and then it drops you to 1 HP as in recoil. But if you skip the animation, that just doesn't happen for some reason, and it makes it so much easier to use. It's also the only exploit that I'm aware of in this game. You can do the same sort of thing with the card that heals you in combat, but obviously you don't want that to happen because it skips your healing. And we never actually get that card, so we don't have to worry about it. And all that stuff that I just went over is actually going to be pretty commonplace in the rest of the game, so hopefully you have a pretty good understanding of what just happened in Chapter 4. That was comparatively one of the more simple chapters in the game.